Good morning, everybody. JT here with you guys on a Wednesday AM, just turning PM for some of you, depending on where you're at in the country. Good to be back in the studio, Studio 10-4 Live and the Morning Drive. We got a great show lined up for you guys today. In fact, got a full day of programming here today. Once we're done here in the Morning Drive, we'll be getting things prepped and ready for this afternoon show, the weekly update. We got Jeff Patello out of Los Banos, California. Big winner down in Arizona this last weekend. Best of show with a beautiful 2-axle Pete build that he did. And it is just a sweet, sweet ride, man. Can't wait to get Jeff on the show. Also from the Pickett family down there, and I mean family of builders, employees, the whole group down there. We're going to have one, two, or all three. So Rod, Chad, and Steve. And of course, we've had all three on the show before, but not quite sure who all is going to be able to show up. These guys are up to their eyeballs in the builds that they've got going to Louisville, as do a lot of folks right now. They're the people are scarce right now, let me tell you, man, because I think they've let themselves get behind more than the usual, and it is it's there now. There's some awesome stuff you're going to be at Louisville, as there is always every year, and we're going to be able to bring some of that stuff to you guys on both of our shows, the Morning Drive and the weekly update, before we head out to Louisville, week of Mid-America Truck Show. Good morning, Frank. Good to have you on, buddy. Never get Frank on, but now in the morning we can get you, right? That's awesome. Well, noon for you probably. So Chris, good to have you on the show. Thanks for showing up. Let's see. Let's get our comment scroll going. A lot of good stuff happening. A lot of stuff happening in our world right now. Obviously, with what took place this weekend. I mean, if you're like me and you woke up and turned on your whatever you look at in the morning, I usually check my phone, see if I got any messages, email, that kind of stuff, and certainly I did, and noticed, we got a little happening over in the desert, and boy, turned the news on, and there it all was. So interesting goings on. I mean, there's a lot that could be said about it. We'll talk a little bit about it with the guys here in a minute on the show, but I don't know what it takes, but when people are chanting death to you, I think that makes them your enemy, doesn't it? Death to America, death to Israel, death to you. So whether it's from across, continents and wherever it's happening at this moment, and they're shouting back at us those kinds of comments, or it's somebody in front of you, literally in real life, what are you going to do? I mean, you tried diplomacy. I mean, who doesn't first? And we did and have, and well, here we are. So I think we had to do what we had to do, and here we are again. So interesting how this is going to affect some things too. And I think Brandon brought up some great points here on our pre-show, kind of talking about it, and I'll let him share his thoughts on that when we get here. But tune in this afternoon, 5 o'clock Pacific time, and hear what Jeff's got to say and share that new build that he's got, plus whatever he's got going to the big show in Louisville. Right on. Let me bring in Brandon and, of course, Matt Carey, our go-to. What were we talking about? I don't remember that one. The memory guy. We want our Google guy, man. He keeps us honest. Morning, guys.
Morning.
And Brandon, you got a guest with you today. You got John Hiley, correct?
That's correct, Mr. The one and only.
Right on. Well, we'll introduce John to everybody here in a minute, man. How the heck are you, Brandon?
Doing good. This morning, we're having the unseasonably 50 degrees and early March temperatures here in Ohio. So sun's trying to peek out. Right now, good morning.
It's literally it's 50 degrees outside right now at 9 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah,
Can't beat it.
Now I'm not complaining, man. I'm telling you, it's March, and this time of year for us, even in the Pacific Northwest, it should be a little bit cold, a lot cold, and maybe even snowing or snow on the ground, and we ain't got it. So I don't know, man. But that's okay.
Rumor has it by the end of the week here we're going to be in the 60s. So I'm planning on breaking the bathing suit out, going outside, doing some tanning.
I'm glad I'll be gone.
Yeah, absolutely. Oscar, how you doing, my friend? Congrats, Oscar Velasquez, racing down in Arizona this last weekend, setting another world record. Congratulations, my friend. Speed is your thing, man. That's awesome to hear. In a Class 8 truck. So, y'all don't know Oscar. He races one badass ride. Matt, what about you, bud? What's going on?
Not much. He's talking about it's nice, but it's raining. We've got a farm here, and it's just one big mud puddle. So,
yeah.
So,
yeah, we do have that.
Yeah. It sucks.
Well, there's that, or you get, a pond, frozen pond, or frozen ground. I don't know, man. Listen,
our cows were out eating the cattails off of the pond when it was frozen, so that was okay. So I'm good with that. So.
Yeah, Frank, we agree. Don't worry, buddy.
Yeah, I just seen Frank's comment. Yeah, okay, Frank. All right, I won't just for you.
Yeah. Well, the winter has been interesting. We've had some serious stuff go on more towards your side of the country than ours. Then, down in SoCal, they get rain down there, and it's like, what's the stuff falling out of the sky? So anything, like that happens down there, and it freaks them out. With good reason for a lot of those folks down there. They're still recovering from the fires that happened. And of course, what happens, just like Matt was saying, once you've had water, you get mud. And in their cases down there, and I haven't heard there's been any real severe ones, but you can also ultimately end up with really severe mudslides and things like that, because there's nothing holding the ground in place anymore once those fires come through. So, yeah. Anyway, California's got a lot of issues to deal with. I hope they get some of them straightened out here in the upcoming elections and moving ahead. I mean, miss California, don't miss the politics. So we were talking earlier, man. We got stuff happening. But first, let's introduce John and tell everybody who he is, because I bet a lot of folks don't know John, and there's some tuned in that probably do. But John, tell us about yourself. Who are you? Where are you? What are you doing?
Well, I've been trucking for 40 years. I haul mostly entertainment, logistics, liftgate stuff, museum exhibits, artwork, stuff like that. And here a few years ago, I got a crazy idea, because when my dad started driving for Greyhound in 1965, the year I was born. So I started riding with him. Then he also trucked a little bit out of Missouri, going out of Granite City, Illinois, up to Gary, Indiana, hauling steel. And but my first trip with him was at a Greyhound bus in 1970. And I just got thinking about the old days, and I found an old Greyhound bus and bought it in 1984. A bus was actually the first thing he ever put behind the wheel of. Watching him come home from work being aggravated at the people, I knew I didn't want to drive a bus for a living, so I went to trucking. But here I am 40 years later and wanting to get back in a bus, so I found one. Driver's seat and the cockpit's all period correct, nothing's been altered on it. Bought it from a gospel group, so I got in and started working on the interior, and then got a hold of Brandon, and we're going to paint it up to match the truck and just try to make it look cool. Then we're going to kind of venture out across the country on the back roads and talk to people and see things and just kind of see where it all goes.
So the bus is already blessed, is that right?
Excuse me?
I said the bus is already blessed then. You got it from a gospel group, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Probably
what was the polka group from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? That's
Oh, I don't know, man. That's why we got Matt here. That's
yeah.
That's why we got Matt here. So I'm over on your profile on Facebook, John, and you're on. Are you on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok? Are you doing them all, or
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok? Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll get more into that, but
the Kenosha Kickers. There you go.
Yeah, the Kenosha Kickers. There
Kenosha
you go.
Kickers. Wait a minute. Was that okay? Plain. Oh, you know what I'm thinking? I was thinking of Home Alone, man. John Candy and his band. They got mom in the back of the truck, and they're the polka band. Remember that? That's
Oh,
what
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got my movies mixed up. Yep.
That was awesome.
Yep.
There is no so that Planes, Trains, and Automobile. He is in that.
Yeah, I thought he was in both.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kenosha Kickers. Yeah.
Yep. Right on. So, I mean, how far have you taken this bus, man? I mean, what was it like when you got it to where it's at now, or where it's going to be when you hit the road? How far is it? Totally, fully self-contained, or what?
Almost. I've got my shower framed in. I still have to put the shower in. I do have black and gray water tanks, generator, transfer switches, inverter. We've got electricity all the way through. It's got no 2-stroke Detroit in it, 6V92 TA.
Oh boy.
It runs great. It does leak a lot of oil, but we found a guy in Ohio that actually was able to solve a speed issue for me.
Yeah.
And he's once we get it going here, we're gonna do a rebuild on it and get it in good shape.
You know, I ran an old Detroit 8V92 silver one, and you know, they call them slobber tubes that run down the sides of the block. The guys that I had working on that engine hooked me up with the recovery tank that they put on all the Greyhound buses. Right. And literally it captured all that oil running down, and you would drain that every so often from all the oil coming out those tubes. Right. And that was the greatest thing that ever put on that truck, was to get that oil off the ground and put it somewhere where it didn't have to end up everywhere, because it also ended up all under the hole underneath of the truck, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what a freaking mess. I mean, in that truck, when I had that thing, when I first got it, it was disgusting. I ended up underneath that thing, and I can't tell you how long it took me, but because I got rode up on it, but I got her clean, man. Once I got that thing straightened out, that thing was amazing until it blew up. But anyway.
One of the great things about it, though, is if you have to get under there and work on something, there's never a rusty bolt.
You're right. Exactly. Never a stuck one either, right? Everything's rattled loose or oiled loose, or both. Yeah. So there's a whole culture out there, and I follow a lot of this stuff. RV people call them that, for lack of a better name, but you know, that have taken buses and converted them, and they're out there running in them, man. And you know, these are straight body buses that don't have slide outs or anything like that, and they make them work, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I will say it's really comfortable in there, even without slide outs. I mean, there's plenty of room. You know, I've hung out with John on the bus quite a few times, and it's like there's plenty of room to move around, and I don't really miss not having a slide out on them, to be quite honest with you. You kind of take away from it.
I saw one go across my news feed this morning, and it was a coach, you know, high end, high dollar. It was a 1999, you know, pre-slide out model, and it's up for sale at some show right now. And of course, it's already sold. I mean, it was redone and refitted, and just, you know, absolutely immaculate, but no slide out. And you know, the couches, it had 2 couches as you walk in, and they were facing each other, and then everything else, you know, on down the chassis. I mean, from the dining room, the kitchen, the bathroom, bedroom, everything. And I thought, you know, it's not too bad, but I mean, I'm in a rig where I've got slide outs, and I couldn't do it without it, man. That'd be too narrow. Couldn't do it. But I see how it could work, and it did, obviously, for years, until they figured out, hey, we can make these things fatter or wider. So they did. But this one was gorgeous. As I said, I follow all these people and different builders, different years, styles, you know, of coaches out there, man. And you're kind of in it's sort of it's a classic. What year's the bus? What year's the coach?
1984.
84. I mean, yeah. Shoot. I mean, it's almost 50 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what's it got? Has it got an automatic or a 10-speed, or what's it got in it?
5-speed manual.
5-speed manual.
Yep. With no tack. So it's Brandon, I tell you, it's a little interesting to drive, because you know, driving a truck without a tack is not really an issue. you're sitting right on top of the engine. But
Yeah.
with this, the engine's 40 feet behind you.
Yeah.
So trying to listen to the engine, and
Yeah.
then you're also shifting 40 feet of slop to get to the transmission. So it's a little bit different. I've had a few truck drivers that have driven it, and they find it challenging.
One of
It-
the things I appreciate about it is it's cable shift too. So back in the day, you know, I had a 362 cab over that was cable shift. And you know, if you've ever driven a truck that is cable shift, it's not the same as driving even a cab over that has linkage shifting.
Yeah.
It's a totally different feel, you know. And when with this setup, you have 40 feet of cable going to the back, and you can't hardly hear that engine. So whenever you're trying to feel it go in gear, I mean, it's a weird feel. Like it's definitely it's all the trucks I've driven. It is definitely not like a truck. It is its own unique animal, and
Yeah, I
that's what's
can
cool
only
about
imagine.
it. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I can't imagine. I've never driven a cable shift truck before, and I can't imagine being so ultimately disconnected. You can't hear the damn engine. It's way in the back, and you can't feel what you're doing shifting. I mean, how the hell, you know, you got to really, I don't know, you get like some kind of spiritual connection to your ride or what? How does that
I know
work?
one of the things that we want to do with this when we get out on the road is we want to get maybe get a few younger drivers and a few older drivers to jump in the driver's seat, take a little ride with it, and see what it was like for the guys back there in that day trying to drive something like that. And on top of that, trying to provide a very smooth ride for the 40 some odd people you had on there.
Are you coming to Louisville with it?
Not with it. I might be at Louisville. That's still a 50-50.
Okay.
Should we tell them where the bus is going to be, Brandon?
Yeah, it's going to be here probably until Tony's show.
We're going to roll it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not going to get to it until after the show and stuff. We're obviously pretty busy, so we just got to hear. We're just kind of, you know, when he gets time, he comes by and gets things working on it and stuff, and just kind of gearing up for it.
I mean, I was going to say, if you had that thing at the show, you know, kind of where you were parked last year and that lot over there, you could have that over there and have in and outs and take people out around the grounds there on that road and yeah, give them the real experience. I mean, there's all kinds of other trucks out there doing test drives and stuff. They had that one last year that was out there doing it all through the whole show, but yeah, that would be pretty cool. I mean, I don't know.
He always said his dad, you know, would put his cup of coffee up on the dash. And, you know, one of the challenges is, you know, that the cup of coffee obviously stayed there the entire ride. That's how smooth he was. And I had to laugh because, you know, I get behind the wheel of the bus and, you know, he's got some stuff back on the countertop and things like that, you know, and I definitely am not the driver that his father was, that's for sure, because if there would have been a cup of coffee on the dash, he would have been on the floor for sure.
I've driven an old bus, an old retired, I think it was a Greyhound. I don't know. It was a buddy of mine bought it, and his dream was to have this bus and have somebody drive it and take him and all of his buddies to concerts. And we did that one time. We went from Folsom into the Bay Area with this bus, me driving, and it was a 10-speed with a Detroit in it. And I tell you, I got in that thing and I don't know, man. It was like just another day out on the road. It ran, it had some power. We had a hell of a good time and nobody was hurt. So mission accomplished.
There you go.
Yeah, good stuff. By the way, thanks to Matt for last week and helping me carry the show because somebody was not around. Where were you?
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, this running for political office, you know, these meetings and these luncheons and all that stuff is quite time consuming. So, but May will be here
that night too. So,
yeah, lots of meetings. Yeah, trust me, I've been attending a lot of meetings lately. I'll just put it to you that way.
How's the campaign going?
Good. We're obviously, you know, midterm season kind of just kicked off. I don't know if you've seen what happened down in Texas. In my opinion, one of the What's that?
I just saw Abbott's name up on the screen last night, and that was it for me. I think that was about it. What happened? What happened? I mean,
So
besides
one
what
of
happened
the
to Houston?
one
There
of
was
the worst.
multiple people that didn't make it in the midterms there.
Yeah, and believe it or not, I don't know if you've seen, Jasmine Crockett in action or not, but probably one of the worst politicians in the modern day era. She was voted out last night, so her term is ending. So no more crazy Jasmine Crockett. Thank gosh.
Bye. Okay, good. Well,
Dan Crenshaw.
Yep, Dan Crenshaw's gone. Yep.
Yeah. There was a couple other ones. I have to look, but
so Texas was kind of grabbing the headlines. There wasn't any other notables across the country then that had anything showing up or happening?
No, last night was just Texas. It's going to start now. You're going to start seeing all these primaries come up, and over the next couple months, different states have different primaries at different times, but Texas is kind of the one that kicks off primary season. So theirs was last night, and it's great to see that some politicians that needed to go are out, and there's going to be some new people coming in. I don't know the races, whether we're getting better, but I would sure say, based off historical precedents, that we didn't lose anything. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, crazy and word salad can only carry you so far, and then finally somebody really has to go. All right, so what did you do for the last 4 years, or however long the term was that you've been serving for, and what do we got to show for it? I mean, look at California. There's these huge concrete structures, that are standing out in the middle of nowhere, just like a trophy, and they go nowhere, and that's all part of that crazy rail system that they put together. That's billions and billions of dollars over budget and not anywhere near done. And honestly, if it will ever be done, I don't know. That's is it like where you just kind of do you lick your wounds and walk away? Or do you go, okay, we got to finish this at this point? I have no idea. I don't even want to debate it, but I'm just saying, yeah, primary in North Carolina. That's the other one I saw, Frank. You're right, on TV last night too. That's going on, but there's got to be a point of deliverance where people go, okay, even the craziest of the crazies have to admit, okay, nothing's happening here, and do something for change. If you want to stay in and be crazy, go be crazy. You're going to be, or whatever you're doing. But put people in charge of stuff that can get stuff done, that's going to make it okay for you to be crazy wherever you're at.
You can be crazy, just be effective. I mean, we're all a little crazy. Let's face it. Every one of us has got a crazy side.
I'm saying us, the populace out here. We are, to be able to be who we want to be free and do whatever we're doing. We can't just let people just run things that are supposed to be taking care of things, and then they're not. And when that's going on, man, bad things happen. They do. So, John, let's swing back over to you, buddy. I want to hear about some of the venues, bands, and names, if possible, that you can share that you've worked with, and some good stories, man. Lay them on us, buddy.
I always get asked this, and there's very little I can talk about, man. The quickest way to not ever get used again on a tour is talk about what happens on a tour.
Is it? Okay.
And basically that's just, when we're working with these people, we're seeing the part of their life that when they can just be themselves and not have to be that person on stage.
Yeah.
People ask me, one of the big questions is, do you get to meet the artists? Most of the time, I'd rather not. And the reason is, if I like their music, a lot of times you have kind of a little preconceived impression of what that person would be like. And sometimes when they're not who you might think they are, kind of takes a little bit off the music,
Sure.
So I kind of stick to myself. We see them in catering and we see them wandering around, and some are sociable, some kind of stick to themselves. But when you're back there, it's just business. Yeah, I think one of the coolest things about doing entertainment is how there's no bias. Everybody in the crew comes together no matter what happens, and there's no first, there's no second. It's just everybody unites and makes it happen. Whatever goes wrong, it's going to happen, because that old saying, the show must go on, that show's going to happen.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, the show's going to happen.
Yep.
And,
That's
you know,
real.
when I first got into that, the entertainment thing years ago, I had no guy tell me something. He said, always remember every concert that you help be a part of. He said, that's going to be somebody's first show and it's going to be somebody's last show. So always make sure that you do your part to make sure that everything goes as smoothly as possible. And there's
You
a
know?
lot of, you know, if you think about that, there's a lot of depth in what he told me there.
Yeah.
He was
No,
100%
very
right.
true statement. I mean,
Yeah.
and virtually at shows, I mean, I can remember seeing, and I can't say if it was their first, but there was some youngsters at some of the shows I've been at. It may have been their first concert, and I've seen people carried out on a gurney, and I know it was their
Yeah.
last concert. They,
Yep.
you know, they were getting treated, you know, for CPR on the way out. Whether they made it or not, I mean, I don't know, but I've seen it happen, and you know, it's anything's possible. Jamie, good morning, my friend. Good to have you on the show. Genres. I mean, if you can't drop names, have you done them all? Country, rock, metal, rap? I mean, have you been, can you kind of, any of that?
A couple years ago, I worked a lot with Green Day, which was kind of cool because we were at, I had gone to Lollapalooza. We were doing Lollapalooza up in
Sure.
Chicago.
Sure.
And up in Wrigleyville on North Side, up by Wrigley Field, there's an old venue called the Metro Club. It was actually an old 1920s vaudeville theater. And so I was lead truck on that deal. So I had all the other trucks staged down by McCormick Center to go into Lollapalooza when it was time for the gig. So I had me and one other truck that had taken like backline and stuff up to the Metro so they could play a private party up there. And it was kind of cool. I didn't know it. I had no idea this had happened until later. But as Green Day was coming in their limo van, they saw my truck sitting there. A lot of times they don't see the trucks, you know. But they saw my truck, and I guess they really liked it. So they did a TikTok, and it was like, "Oh, check this ride out! This guy's hauling our stuff, man. This rig is so sick." And that's kind of a cool moment, you know.
It is. It is. I agree. Now, so, I mean, you answered my next question was, you know, what are you hauling around? And so you're hauling, at that time, you're hauling the back line?
Might have been, yeah.
Might have been, yeah. Okay. But I mean, so how many trucks, and I mean, is there like 4, 2, half a dozen? Does it take? And you guys are leapfrogging. If you're on tour, you're leapfrogging venues, aren't you?
No. Like when we close out a show, like
Yeah.
I want to say we had either 6 or 8 trucks on that show. And it's going to depend on whether it's a stadium tour, shed tour, you know, it depends on what kind of venues you're playing on, how much
Right.
gear and how much stuff they're gonna have.
Right.
And so you know, you have a call out time every night. If the show ends at 11, that means all the guys need to be in their seats at like by 10:30. You know, during the day is yours. And I always tell the guys that are running with me, I don't really care what you do today. But at 10:30 tonight, you know, we got 380 miles overnight to the next venue. So make sure you're good for that 380 because once we start, you don't stop. You know,
Yep.
you start getting the trucks loaded as the lead driver. Your job is to get them into the stage. Sometimes you have docks, sometimes you don't. Get the trucks in there. If a lead driver is doing his job right, the driver will never have to get out of his truck until it's time to strap. Like he'll be in the parking lot, the lead driver will open his doors, guide him back in, and you always have somebody guide you because it's dark.
Right.
There's people walking around all over the place. You got $1 million coaches sitting there that you're trying to work around. And so you just get out, you get the guys, you get them loaded, they get their load secured, send them down the road, they know where they're going. You've already given them your directions, you give them your go meal because you always get when you leave a show, you always get food to go, and you send them on their way. And then you usually get to the next venue and you start all over again.
So these guys are, I mean, it sounds like whatever they've got in the back of their truck gets unloaded for them. So it's probably what Teamsters, they got stuff like that. Is there those kind of walls and barriers do you have to deal with? You can't touch things once you back up to the dock and that kind of thing.
you have local labor,
Yeah.
which a lot of time is union.
Yep.
And then you've got the road crew guys that travel on the buses.
Yeah.
And their job is to take it from the local guys and set everything up.
Got it. Yep. I figured. Yeah. There's a bunch of things going on. It's like Louisville, man. That place, holy. Yeah. Vegas was another one. I mean, I remember, having to work with what was going on there. And it's the politics of loading in and out sometimes can get pretty crazy. So these guys then, as far as the driver yourself, are the drivers doing any of that once the stuff's loaded in onto the stage, or are you guys just driving?
Our job's load securement.
Say
They
again?
put it in there, but we make sure it's secured the way it needs to be for the trip.
Right. Okay.
And so that's basically your job is you get back in, you jump out, you walk back there, you get and a lot of times if you're doing the same pack every night, you just split your straps, hang them on the wall, roll the stuff in, fasten your straps together because it all has to happen fast,
Right. And you know what you're doing. Once you got yourself kind of in a rhythm, you know what you need where and how to get it all set up and ready to roll. So like don't mess with my vibe kind of deal, right? Let me do my thing and just get it in here to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
I had a production guy out of Nashville, and I've worked with him quite a bit. And he asked me one night, we were out at Universal Studios unloading some gear for a band that was getting ready to rehearse out there. And we had a pretty good push from where the trailer was down to the studio that we were using. And he asked me, he said, Johnny goes, you're getting like me. He said, you're getting kind of long in the tooth to be doing this rock and roll stuff. He said, what keeps you out here doing it? And I said, most truck drivers never get to see the completion of their work. I said, you're delivering groceries or lumber or whatever. I said, it goes into a warehouse and that's it. I said, but every morning we roll into a venue. I said, you see the road crew come piling off the bus, all tired and asleep because they didn't get a lot of rest on the overnight. All the gear comes off the trailer and you go into a blank slate. And, you've got this giant concrete floor and you see them building the lights and the stage. And then it all comes together. The lights get raised up in the air. The stage goes underneath it. They put the chairs out. I said, then you watch the people come in. They're all stoked and excited to come see their band. And then that night at 11 o'clock, it all just disappears. And by 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, we're on the road, hammer down for the next one to start it all over again.
That's amazing, man. I mean, getting to see some of the shows too. I mean, if it's somebody you want to see, can you hang backstage and watch the show?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But your work comes first. If it's if you got a tight drive that night, you got to get your rest,
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to get your rest, especially at festivals, because you're sitting right behind the stage and usually sleep ends about the time the sound check begins.
Okay. Gotcha. So, and how long have you been doing this kind of work?
I've been doing entertainment for a little over 20 years now.
Okay. So that puts you right, back in 2005, 2006 in that area when you got into this kind of gig. Imagine, and just, I mean, for conversation's sake, you can only imagine what it might have been like back in the day when, you got Aerosmith, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, the real AC/DC, all these, historic rock bands on tour doing stadium shows all over the country because that's what they were doing. Mm-hmm. What that must have been like, I can only imagine. I mean, and I'm a rocker, man. So I mean, that to me would be exciting. I'd probably get fired because I'm too busy screwing off and hanging out watching the shows and not doing where I'm supposed to be doing what I'm supposed to do. That I can only imagine.
Passed away last year right after Christmas, and he was one of my mentors. And he was a rock and roll hauler from back in the late 70s and early 80s. And yeah, he had some stories.
I can only imagine. I mean, and we're at a time right now in this world where, the stadium concert thing is, that's not like it used to be where it was, back in those days, that's just kind of how it was done. Where these days it's more like that's a, special occasion, destination show kind of thing. There's some big thing behind it. Whereas, out here on the West Coast, man, Day on the Greens were, plentiful all summer long.
Oh yeah.
That's just how we rolled, and
I'll tell you something that probably one of the oddest changes that I have seen in entertainment trucking is now, and I've done it a few times, is so many of these tours, you run ghost trucks because the trucks now are so undependable with all the emissions and the things that can go wrong. In fact, I recently did one, can't remember the artist, but these guys closed out of Englewood in LA, and I ran empty with them all the way to Chicago and got paid for it, obviously. Paid pretty good. And you're just there for backup.
And that's it. You're running empty?
I'm empty.
So are you running bobtail then?
No. Like if something was to happen,
yeah,
they would find a location for me to drop my trailer at.
Yeah.
Or else leave my trailer with the broke down guy.
Yeah.
I would take his loaded trailer, go onto the venue. Like in that case, we were going to Chicago, going to Soldier Field. I would take his trailer. Then when he got fixed, he would bring my trailer and catch me. Or I'd take his trailer, drop it off, and then bobtail back. And then I would get paid for bobtail back to my trailer as well.
Wow. Well, makes sense. I mean, like you said, the show must go on, and there can't be any, truck didn't make it. Sorry, no show tonight, folks.
Right, yeah.
Nope, that's not going to fly. Since you can't, pin anybody down, and I get it, I do, but I mean, your degree of contact, with the entertainers probably, varied and different ones, like you said, different personalities. I mean, there's some entertainers out there now that since they've shown themselves to the public, they've revealed more of their inner selves than we probably ever would have wanted to know. And in some cases or to entertainers personally for me that I enjoyed watching, to have them come get in my face about their politics or their religion or whatever, I've been turned off, man. I mean, you got anybody, and you don't have to name them, but I mean, is there ones out there that maybe you're kind of like, yep, I'll work for them, or maybe you won't. But is there anybody out there like that now for you? Yeah, and you plead the fifth if you need to, buddy.
There was one last year that I actually turned down.
Okay.
I was offered the gig, and when she called me, she said, "Hey, I got this thing going on." She said, "I've already had a few people turn it down." And she said, "And if you want to turn it down," I said, "Huh?" And I said, "You know me," I said, "If it pays," I said, "I'm not going to walk away from it." And she started giving me the itinerary dates, and all of a sudden I went, "Who is this?" And she told me, "I've never heard of him." But I looked him up on YouTube.
Yeah.
And do y'all remember the artist that came out dressed up in the devil costume, the LGBT at one of the award shows? I'm not gonna say his name, but anyway,
I think
I looked
so.
at that and it was just, I thought, man, this is everything I'm not,
Yeah.
And I said, hon, I said, I don't think I want this gig.
Are we talking about the guy that played Super Bowl? Or no?
No, I want to say it was one of the. I want to say it was one of their award shows, like the music award, something. It was something along those lines. I remember it, but
yeah,
I can't think of who it was.
So there was I don't know if I could say it. I mean, I know who you're talking about. I don't know. I won't say it if I don't want to get.
Let's leave it to everybody.
It's not going to be hard for people to figure
out.
Yeah. I don't care about a lot of things. I mean, I work in a very diverse group of people.
Oh man,
I sure am not concerned about sexual orientation or whatever or color. None of that makes any difference to me. But this guy he took it to the next level. He made his whole act about that. Yeah. And I'm like, that's just not something I want to be part of.
Yeah, dressed up the devil, stripper poles, doing a lot of weird stuff. Yeah. When he first came out, it wasn't that out there. And as he went along, it got way out there.
Yeah. Push the envelope.
And I would say I have no right to judge anybody, because when my time comes, everybody in line is going to be going, man, is this guy ever going to get done? So I have no right to judge anybody else, but this guy was just a little too in your face with a lot of stuff I didn't agree with.
Well, and John, you did what the most of us that are, rational, reasonable folks do. We turn the channel, man.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there was a dial. You didn't like what was on one channel, turn the dial, go to the next. And you still can do that. And unfortunately, in our world of social media, news feeds just, constantly feeding all the stuff that is going on. People sometimes are unfiltered and throw whatever out there. You kind of go, yeah, I don't want to really be seeing that anymore. So turn them off. You don't have to disconnect, unfriend, or whatever. You just don't pay attention to what they're doing anymore, and maybe when they got something better to say or, share, then you can be there and be a part of that. But it's tough, man. This is an interesting dynamic in the world we live in now. And boy, I'm seeing it, after this weekend and the contrast of yay and nay over what's happening right now, huge, but of course, why wouldn't it be? It's just the next thing in line for those that do not care for our president to complain about, and they're going to, and it is what it is. I've accepted that fact, and
John, honestly, I mean, probably 85% of the people that I work with are not on the same political alignment as me, but that doesn't make any difference to me. I don't care about that. I think we've gotten so far away from letting people be what they want to be. And, I have, like I said, I have no right to judge anybody. If you have political views one way, it's not mine to call. I don't have to agree with you, but I'm sure not going to hate you because of it. I think that's kind of silly.
Right. No, it's all about, again, like I said, if something's not with where you want to be in your life, and then you remove yourself from that. Agree to disagree. All of those things. There's guys that people that I've known that are friends of mine, lifelong friends, and I've said this before. I'll say it again. I finally, after years of us all growing up and doing our thing, realized why a lot of these people I wasn't that close to before. I get it now. And we definitely didn't have the same values and views, and that's why. Okay, but I still like them. We still are friends, and that's, again, the ability to agree to disagree. I mean, so on our group, 10-4 Magazine, the Lounge, which is our Facebook group, there's guys that throw stuff up there sometimes, and they're usually pointed at certain cultures and whatnot, and I take it down. I'm not gonna let that stuff fly. That's not our group. Our group's about cool trucks, cool people, and the good and fun side of it, man. That other side, that there's other groups out there. If you want to do all that, go do it there. But listen, man, there's good people in all cultures. Not everybody is, as they've been stereotyped, believe me. And it's unfortunate that people don't see that, but it won't happen. Trying not to let it happen in our group. We try to keep it so that everybody can feel comfortable and have fun and share and do what it was meant to be, a group to post your experiences, your view of the windshield, man. Every day you're out there doing what you're doing, share what you got, what you brought. Let us see what's happening. We love to have you guys do that. Are you on you're on hiatus right now, John, then? So you're not going to be on tour anytime soon?
I'm working right now.
Oh, are you? Oh, okay. All right.
I brought let me see. I can't remember what I did last. Oh, I was out west. We just finished up a trade show.
Okay.
And I didn't really have anything going, so I'm a lift gate guy and all that, so I blanket wrap and everything. So I loaded some slot machines out of Las Vegas, took them down to South Florida, And I talked to my guy. We got some companies that we do corporate shows for, the corporate gigs.
Okay.
And we've got a company up out of Philly. Well, my guy called me. He goes, I'm either going to need you in Chicago or Philly in like a week and a half. And I'm like, a week and a half? Well, I'm to the point, I don't jump on the load board and try to look for freight because I just get disgusted with what it's paying. And my guy's stuff pays real good.
Yeah.
So I see that as an opportunity to come to Ashland, park the truck and work on the bus for a few days.
Yeah, not good move. No, good move, really. Well, with Mid America coming up, I mean, we've got actually Vegas, the Vegas Invitational, and that event's coming up, which is paired with the NASCAR event that's going on at the same time. Then after that, and I don't know if I know I'm not going to Vegas this year, but we'll probably be sending somebody representing 10-4 will be there, I hope, and be able to cover that for us. But Matt's is a big push right now, and I want to say howdy to Jeff Patello, who was in here a few minutes ago. I hope he's still around. But Jeff, we're looking forward to having you on the show this afternoon, man. This show down in Arizona that NHRDA and Rod Pickett and his team have put together. I last year was there. This year I was not. Talked to some folks already about it, including our owner and editor and his wife, Dan and Shan. Good show, good turnout. I heard that the racing, which was more focused on four wheels than six, was pretty good. In fact, I heard pretty outstanding. There's some huge purses down there and a lot of cool stuff. In fact, we'll be talking more about that again this afternoon with Jeff and the guys from Pickett. I think it's a great opportunity to kick the season off, man, because you're down in Arizona and it's March or the end of February and it's 90 degrees and you got people coming from all over the place, and most of them are shaking raindrops off or snow or something on the way in. So you get a place to go kind of thaw out, be outside, get warm and have fun, and then turn and burn and go wherever you're going to go. And hopefully you end up in Louisville come the end of March, which that's where everybody's right now going crazy to get to. So Brandon, what do you guys got going on, man? You are you up in it? You got stuff that you're working on?
The usual rat race, I won't be sleeping much over the next couple of weeks. I can tell you that much. And, by the time I get to Louisville, I always love the trip going there because it seems like, and I always play it off weather, whenever we leave, but we always pick a nice day, and it's normally, and knock on wood, hopefully we're going to have that again this year. It's normally just a nice, relaxing trip down. But here, the past couple years, I've had a hard time staying awake on that trip because I'm so tired from the previous 3 weeks. Yep. And then by the time I get to Louisville, I got to take a whole day and just catch up on rest. Then normally I'm good to go. But yeah, love to see the show, get started. I also love to see it end.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I couldn't even get Rod on the phone yesterday. I did talk to Chad over there at Pickett, and yeah, they're all hustling to get stuff done. That Dandy dairy truck, the one that they brought to their Arizona show, is the one that's on the front and center of them. Yeah, Jeff, I heard about that. The jet dragster, 302 miles per hour there at Firebird. That's hauling butt, buddy. I don't remember what they did for us at Famoso, but I think they got pretty close to that last year for Trucking for Kids. So I'm not sure if they're coming out this year or not, but we'll find out. There's a lot of builds going on. There's a lot of things that are happening. Big rig build off, of course, inside and out. I don't know. I think they're still doing the parking lot out front of the front doors. I thought they were going to cancel that out, but I guess they're still doing it. So there's kind of another show lot, if you will, right outside the front doors. Then there's the PKY lot, that's the front row right there. And then you go all the way to the back, which is where we hang out back there in the bar trailer guy. Yeah, they don't run jet fuel, only diesel, huh? Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Huh. All right. Well, jet fuel's kerosene, basically, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's very
close-
similar. I forget what the ignition point is on it, but what's the ignition point on jet fuel, Matt?
I'm
Memory
looking.
guy.
he's looking. There you go. That's how you know if you got a good guy, a Google guy. He's already on it before you even hit tab. I like that.
Yeah, it's highly refined kerosene, but the unlike kerosene, I'll look at that. But yeah, it is very, it's just very highly refined kerosene.
Something about how it interacts or with water, or there's no water, so that's why they use it, because it won't freeze. And
Yeah,
right, isn't that the deal?
yeah. So the flash point's 38 degrees Celsius, 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It needs to be heated to temperatures that ignite with external source. But yes, so the way that they had stuff set up, like you were saying, it's supposedly in different temperatures, different atmospheres, it works better.
Yeah.
So 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Wow, that's
Yeah.
It's really not
Here-
that hot for it to ignite.
Here's the word of the day too, and I remember this from college from one of my shop teachers. It's like brake fluid. It's hydroscopic. If I'm not mistaken, brake fluid is hydro. So it basically repels water. Is kind of the deal. Moisture. It does not combine with it molecularly, so it stays. It doesn't expand and it doesn't contract, and that way it stays efficient in its operation and service, being compressed by the master cylinders and stuff. Well, kerosene, same kind of thing, right? I mean, you're obviously in that same kind of similar environment, right? So same, I think, or the jet fuel, same kind of thing, I think. Similar to it anyway. Hell, I don't know. I'm making this shit up as I go. But
It sounded good. I mean, I'll give you credit.
smart.
It sounds good.
I'd be impressed listening.
Well, I gotta
to
admit,
you.
I was sitting here going, does he really know what he's talking about? Or is he just lying to go do this?
You could be a fuel salesman, John.
Damn, right? I remember all that, man. I can't remember the guy's name, but I remember that lecture. Oh man, boy, back in the day, I had a college professor in automotive tech that used to be one of the main guys at Chrysler back in the day, Mopar, guy, and I went to school with his son. It just by coincidence, we ended up in that situation, but used in Rain-X, Frank Strohmeyer says. What is kerosene or brake fluid? Whatever works on that stuff, it works well. Anyway, I remember those classes too, man. I'll tell you what, I learned a lot in there. This was back in the day when the GI Bill and some other programs were out, though, and we had all these non-English speaking Asian immigrant men in our class, and it got to the point where the professor, I think he reined them all in and threw them out because these guys were dangerous. I mean, we'd be indoors doing simulated car repairs, and that would involve starting the cars up, putting them in gear, high idle, low idle, all these different checks and things that we do. And guys did stupid shit, and cars got loose in the shop and ran into each other and people and toolboxes and whatever else because these guys. Anyway, yeah, man, crazy times. But,
so basically, like any day in any truck stop in America right now is what you're saying.
oh yeah, like that. Yeah, that's it. I see a lot of those on social media posted up, and it's like, holy crap, man. I can't even imagine having to deal with that where in just in one instance, here's a guy and he's out there trying to talk to some dude because he just took the front end of his truck off while he was trying to pull in or back in or pull out or whatever he was doing. And it's it's a pointless conversation. There just needs to be somebody that comes in and goes, okay, you are stupid. You should not be driving. And that's it, done. Because the guy's going to argue with you that he didn't do anything wrong and it's not his fault. But I'm sorry, but the truck was parked. The one you just tore the front end off. So how's that anybody's fault but yours? Right. Anyways.
Yeah. I feel like you're making reference to the guy in the bobtail that was in the rest area.
Yep.
Did you guys see that one?
Yep.
Yeah. And Blake's the guy in the bobtail.
Yep.
It's like, bro, if the guy would have pulled a trailer, you would have tore a lot more up.
Thank you, John.
And the guy, and the best part about it was too, the foreign guy was perfect for it because he actually could speak English
Enough.
But his voice was perfect. Like it just made the entire case of what we talk about. It just made the entire case.
Yeah, hey, Jeff says he was hoping to get some insight on how to slow the clock down for Louisville.
There is no way, trust me. We should call Van up. Maybe Van, Van's pretty intelligent. He might have a solution for that problem. But
do we have a
the
lifeline?
only way to slow? What's that?
Is that like a lifeline? Do we have a lifeline phone call that we can make to call somebody for that?
So it was funny because we know Van Brown from Bullsnot really well, and Van, he's always got the answer for it seems like anything. You can just call him and ask him most questions, and he's such an intelligent guy. He's got a lot of answers. So I guess maybe he'll build us a time machine. So
he does everything else.
Yeah, he does everything else. We can do that, but literally, that's the only way we're going to stop that clock. Sadly, it's. And that's what I was telling you, John, every year we say, we're going to be ready next year. We're going to be ready for next year. I don't care what you do. It's always going to be a rat race.
Well, and I got to tip my hat to Brandon here because here I am. I'm working on this bus thing, and he's being a great enough person to let me come up here, park my rig out here, and work on the bus. I'm trying to stay out of his hair, but I also want him to know. It's like last night. I said, "Hey, you want to come out to the bus and have a drink?" I said, "I'm done for the day," and he had a bunch of stuff he was gone doing yesterday, and he's like, "Man," he goes, "I'm tapped out tonight. How about tomorrow night?" I'm like, "I get it." I said, "Dude, just know my door is always open, man." I go, I just appreciate the fact that he's allowing me to come up here and work on this thing out in his lot,
Yeah.
You're always welcome. I'm happy to have people around. It's fun kind of having people come and hang out and see what it is we got going on. And it's nice too, because when you come, you always get me to stop and take a minute and have a drink with you. So that always
Yeah, the bourbon bottle's open in the bus every night. That's
some of the best work gets done after 5, and the bourbon bottles are flowing.
That's right.
That's it.
That's right.
It sure looks better, anyways. Right. Yeah.
Might not the next morning, but that night, my God, we did a great job.
Might not the next day, but hey. All right, guys, we're up at the top of the hour, and I know. Well, I don't know. I mean, you guys got stuff to do, I'm sure, but I'll keep it to an hour this morning. We have 2 more Wednesdays available before we meet up in Louisville. So we'll look forward to filling these mornings up. You guys that are out there, if you have anybody you'd like us to bring in that you think would be a good morning guest, let's hear about it. Please share the show with everybody. Share it on your social media out there that you're watching and you're a part of it. Thanks to everybody that is tuning in. And this afternoon, like I said, 5 o'clock, we've got Studio 10-4 Live, the weekly update coming in. And Jeff Botello for sure going to be on the show. And then the guys from Pickett Custom Trucks down in Arizona. Not sure who's going to be on yet. I know, I think Chad and Steve for sure are in. So that's Steve Mitchell, Stephen Gringo, and Chad Violet. For those of you wondering who I'm talking about. And of course, Rod Pickett. I hope we get Rod in here just for maybe a few minutes, if nothing else, just to kind of catch us up on the show and how things went. Plenty to talk about there, and thoughts and direction of where that might end up and what it looks like going into 2027. Registration's open for Trucking for Kids. You guys get over there if you're going to be on the West Coast and joining us for that. Get registered now. Get it done. That way you got something to go to come first week of May, and it's all taken care of, and we know you're coming. So we'd love to get you guys all registered. John, thanks for your time this morning. Good to talk to you again. Sorry I didn't remember talking to you before, but Yeah, I don't even. When did we speak, man? Was that back in November or December, or when was it?
You
Or
had called
before
me
then?
up about coming on your podcast with Brandon. I hate to say this, but we were on the phone a little over an hour.
Yeah.
And you said, "Hey man, I'm going to send you a link to have you come on the show sometime." That's the last thing I ever heard.
Well, here you are. I didn't lie. You're here.
Maybe it was after 5 o'clock where he talked to
It-
you.
it-
The bottom wasn't been open. So.
Yeah, maybe I just dreamed it. I don't know. I thought.
You know what? That's you dreamt that shit. It's my story. I'm sticking to it, man. I don't even know who you
Your
are,
phone
man.
ended up in your number ended up in my contact list, so I'm pretty sure we talked.
Yeah, Jamie, you have no idea, man. I've been saying this all along since 2021, and I was looking at some stuff recently just to kind of get a grip on when it was. But April of 21, after the 75 Chrome show, and I got that COVID, man, never been the same. Never been the same. It just Swiss cheese, man. And stuff comes and goes. It's like, oh yeah, okay, now I remember that. Yeah, just crazy. Anyway, guys, thanks everybody for this morning. Appreciate you, Matt, Brandon, John. You guys have a great day. We'll talk again soon here, Brandon. When I call you, buddy, answer the phone and we'll chat it up for what we could do next week. Okay.
Yep.
Matt,
We'll
take
see ya.
care.
Yep,
see
take
you all.
care.
All right.
Later.
Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Thank you. All right, everybody. Good show this morning. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to be having one more thing I want to get out there next week. We're going to be doing the Matt's Big Rig Build Off show with everybody. We'll get all the big rig builders, big rig build off builders on the show, along with JC Alt and Toby from Mid America there, Toby Young. So look forward to that one. That'll be on the weekly update. So the afternoon show on Wednesday afternoon. Till this afternoon, you guys take it easy. Keep shiny side up there. Have a good morning, or you're into the other side of the morning and going down that afternoon lane. Be safe out there. Frank, good to have you on the show, buddy. Appreciate, man, that you're able to be in today. All right, everybody, take care.